Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, Norwegian Cruise Line says it's giving you more connectivity on their cruise ships. They're increasing their Wi-Fi for longer cruises. Well, sort of. We also have Carnival Cruise Line starting to send out warnings to everybody on certain cruises that they're going to have maybe one or even two brand new fees that they're going to have to pay, or they might not even be able to get on the ship. We also have itinerary changes for the Sun Princess. This is on top of the itinerary changes already made last year for these same sailings. Yeah, it's a lot of changes. And then we also have a very sneaky thing the cruise lines are doing that are actually going to make you safer. So if you remember last year, Norwegian came out and they basically got rid of their free at sea policies, and they now call it more at sea, which comes with, your drink package, your gratuities, and it also came with 150 minutes of Wi-Fi time. Now, if you're on a 12-day cruise or even a 7-day cruise, 120 minutes doesn't go very far, or 150 minutes, it's 2.5 hours, doesn't go very far, right? So they are now saying, well, on 12-day or more cruises, you're now going to get 300 minutes more for no extra money. It's all going to be included in that more at sea. That's good news. That's good news if you're on Norwegian. Just you also have to remember that almost every other cruise line out there offers their Wi-Fi at unlimited amounts. Now that might make the Wi-Fi on Norwegian faster because less people are using it because they're only using minutes. But as far as convenience for those people who do have to work or have to be connected and make calls or whatever they need to do on the internet, want to stream a movie at night for their kids so the kids fall asleep, anything like that, 300 minutes on a 12-day cruise, that's 5 hours. How many hours of movies are you going to get out of that for your kids? Maybe 2.5 movies, 3 movies, 4 if you're lucky. So yeah, it's more, but maybe I would really love to see them go to the unlimited Wi-Fi like pretty much everybody else does. Next, we also have Carnival Cruise Line is sharing new fees. Their new communications officer is sending out information to all passengers who are now sailing on, for instance, their Carnival Legend, which has European itineraries. Because now, you got to get ready to pay for those electronic travel authorizations. And it also goes for people who are just, for instance, I'm sailing, for instance, out of Barcelona. Yet my flight lands in London and then flies to Barcelona. I actually have to pay for an ETA for the UK to land in London and then pay for the European Union ETA as well to go there. Obviously, this goes for any sailings from Southampton into any European ports like France, etc. You're going to have to pay for both fees. And if you show up and don't have them at the cruise terminal, you may not be allowed on the ship. It can sometimes take 2 to 3 days to get these authorized. And if you don't have them authorized by the time you're getting to the ship, you might not be allowed to get on the ship. For instance, you booked your European one, or here, let's put it this way. You booked your UK one, you landed in London, and you're taking a cruise out of Southampton to Greece. Well, they say, okay, where's your EU ETA? And you don't have it, you can't get on the ship. They're not going to hope that you get it ready by the time you get there. So plan in advance, you got to pay those fees. It's not a whole lot of money. It's just more money, obviously, and it can be devastating if you forget to do it. So please remember to do it. Next, we also have the Sun Princess has made more changes to some of its European itineraries coming up this summer. For instance, now they are switching out the port of Genoa in Italy and they are switching it around with Malaga, Spain, and that means they're also now changing around their arrival in France and their time schedules in other places like Gibraltar. And this is on top of already last year changing, not going to Santorini anymore, and instead going to Koto or other places. It's been a lot of changes since that first announcement of those cruises. Now, a lot of the things that's being posted right now, what the reasoning is over congestion of cruise ships, too many cruise ships. In fact, it's kind of, people look at it and they get angry. They say, well, wait a minute, we were scheduled to go into Santorini, and on that day there is this many ships with 13,000 passengers, yet they're sending us to this cruise port over here now, and it has 4 ships in with 14,000 passengers. Well, there's more passengers getting off there, so there's more congestion. But it's not really, because Santorini is, remember, a tender port. It's a smaller destination. It's thinner, like it's not a big town. And some of the other ports are much more. Sometimes it's 10 times larger than Santorini. So the infrastructure can handle more passengers. So while the numbers look like they're off, when you look at the actual destination and the cruise port and what they can handle and things to do, there's actually more in those ports and will handle more passengers easier. And don't forget, Santorini is also trying to limit their cruise ship passengers to 8,000 a day. And on this particular day, there would have been 13,000. So they're not taking any chances, and they're starting to reroute their itineraries. And they're doing it in enough time that passengers haven't quite made their final payments yet, so they still have time to cancel out if they wish because of these itinerary changes. They're not waiting till after final payments and saying, hey, by the way, you're not going where you thought you're going. So I do appreciate that. Still devastating news if you really were hoping to get to... I really wanted to get to Genoa. I really wanted to get to Santorini. Well, that whole cruise itinerary is completely different than the one you thought you were getting. Next, we have a very sneaky thing the cruise lines are doing, and some people are starting to notice, and I've got a few comments from it, that during the pandemic and the restart and everything, what did you see everywhere you went? Hand sanitizers. There were hand sanitizers machines. There were crew members out there squirting your hands, walking onto the ship, walking off the ship, going into the buffet, going into dining. They were squirting your hands with hand sanitizers everywhere. You don't see that hand sanitizers too much anymore. But people are noticing the crew members that are there are still squirting something in people's hands. Well, it's not hand sanitizer for a lot of them now. What they're doing is they're squirting in your hand liquid soap. So some people are coming in thinking that it's hand sanitizer, and they get it squirted in their hand, and then they go. And what does that do? It just foams up in your hand. So what do you have to do? You gotta go to the sink, and you gotta wash your hands. Now, one of the good things about this is washing your hands is far better than hand sanitizer for the norovirus, the spread of the norovirus. It will get more of the germs off than just a squirt of hand sanitizers will do. So it's kind of sneaky, but it's actually for our own good. I don't want to get norovirus on my cruises. I don't think anybody wants to get that. And so, yeah, if you see a crew member coming around with a bottle, don't think it's hand sanitizer anymore. It just might be liquid soap, forcing you to go washy-washy. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think that's a good idea? You think, hey, if I wanted to wash my hands, I'm going to wash my hands. You don't have to make me wash my hands. Well, apparently we do, because very few people wash their hands these days. I don't know what it is. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. We'll see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world. Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.